Hello, everybody. Just fixing some issues here with the video. How are y'all doing? This is Tony from Six String Corner. Just fixing my video. There it is. Now we're better. More like it. I like videos like that. That is awesome. Okay. So, what's up? Today, I'm going to show you some guitar. We're going to do a free guitar lesson, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to showing you some really cool stuff. I can't get one of my streams to work. Oh no. Oh well. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's okay. There we go. Now we're on. Cool. All right. So good day. Hey, how are y'all doing? I'm just trying to get my one stream going. It is not kicking on. Yikes. Eek. That's not good. All right. Well, as I'm doing this, let me talk a little bit and let you know what's going on, who I am. Those of you who are live and those of you who are watching this much, much later. This is Tony from Six String Corner, and I do guitar lessons, and I give all kinds of them. I give them on video, on YouTube, on the YouTube thingy. I play guitar in animation, a tribute to Rush, which is a Rush tribute band in Chicago. Might be one of the longest running Rush tribute bands in the world. Maybe. It's been around a long time. It's been around since '87. So if anybody knows a tribute band lasts longer than that, I would love to know, because definitely it's how long we've been playing, or the band's been playing. It's gone through different members. None of the original members are left in the band. But anyway, so I do a lot of Rush music. I do, like I said, I teach guitar, and yeah, I'm looking to get my other one live feed going here. And yeah, so I teach guitar and I give live lessons. If you guys didn't know all that, and what I do is, yeah, online. I teach via Zoom, which is a great way to do it. I like that, where you can actually record your lessons. So it's really, really kind of nice that I'm able to do that. And I'm just getting my going live here right now on my one stream. Right, I have to redo it. Yikes! There we go. Live lesson. I love technology. I was typing free live technology. That's awesome. Free live guitar lesson. All right. This is on my personal page. I can never get that one right. It's just like the worst. So anyway. Oh, right. We got to go there. There we go. All righty. So welcome to the land of guitar lessons. And there we go. I think we got a feed going now. That's awesome. Excellent. We are good. All right. Good to roll. All right. So today we're going to talk about bar chords. Yes, we like bar chords. Everybody likes bar chords. Oh my gosh, they're just the best in the entire world, aren't they? Right? Bar chords. We like doing bar chords. Yeah, right. Well, I actually, as I told you, I do play in a Rush band, and anybody who's learned many Rush songs will know that Alex Lifeson used bar chords a lot in many songs. So you kind of got to use it when you're a tribute band. But bar chords actually are pretty good to know. There's a lot of power in knowing a bar chord, because once you know some basic shapes, you can create all kinds of them. For example, if you can play a major chord, bar chord, you just by moving a finger or lifting a finger, you can learn a 7, you can learn a major 7, minor 7, all these different crazy names that maybe you haven't heard of before or not sure of. And I know for me, being a rock guitar player, I've sat in with jazzers before, and knowing the bar chords gets me out of trouble because I can form a chord really fast if it's a really weird looking one, because I know by experience of lifting a finger or moving a finger around. And so I can learn that and make that sound good, even though it may not be exactly where it's played. It's close enough where I can get through and they think I'm a jazzer, even though I'm not. I'm not a jazzer. So I play rock. So anyway, so bar chords are really cool. So I'm going to do a couple things here. We're going to give you a really quick intro on how to make a successful bar chord. Now, it's going to take you a long time to really try to work at this. So I'm going to give you a couple of pointers, a couple of techniques that you can use to help make those bar chords hopefully sound good. If you're not really, if they don't sound good, or you're having frustrations with them or having trouble with them. So anyway, I'm going to go over with that a little bit. Hey, Sean, how you doing? So we're going to go over that with you a little bit and give you some basic chord shapes. Some of you who are my students, and I know you're watching, have gone through this. So this is kind of going to be a refresher for you. But I know many others have not gone through this. So we're going to go through this whole thing. And actually, if my students want to chime in, you can go ahead and chime in if there's something you want to add to what I'm going to show here. I am going to kind of breeze through this a little quick, because I've only got so much time. I'm taking up the streaming in the house here, so I got to kind of chill it out after a little while so that they all can do whatever, watch TV and whatnot. So anyway, so let's get started. All right. How's that? Let's get going. So first of all, I want to, every time you start to play guitar, you're learning a song, to always do a warm up, to always get your fingers, and especially when you're working on your bar chords, because it can really be taxing on your hand if you're not used to it, where it's kind of hurting back here in the thumb, I think sometimes, or it might be hurting in the wrist, depending on how you're playing that. It can be really difficult to try and get that down. So it's also always a good idea to just sort of get a finger warm up. I know I like doing a lot of these chromatic scales. I've done this on an earlier lesson, so I won't belabor it, but I just do. Ooh, that's a lot of reverb. Hang on a second. Let me get that reverb out of there. Otherwise, there we go. Sorry about that. Now we're back. All right, good. So I played like this. Just like the chromatic scale warm up. Another good one that would be helpful to you, and I know I've taught a couple people this already just recently, is going over some little finger coordination techniques where you're sort of doing like these, what I call these finger crawls. They're really useful. So there's a whole bunch of these that I have, and rather than me taking my time here, I want to show you more about getting into the songs first. Is that right on the link below, there is a, if you haven't got it already, this freebie course that I got. There's a bunch of videos that will go over this very thing. So you can get those fingers warmed up, some exercises, some coordination techniques and whatnot, that'll help your fingers and your thumb and everything else to really play good, right? So that when you're working on bar chords, I know it's a lot of single note and you're moving your fingers individually, but trust me, it'll help with your bar chords. It's going to help with playing lead if you're learning lead solos. I've gone over some solos over here recently too. That matters. That's a big deal. So make sure that you click that if you haven't. It's down below on Facebook, on my 6-String Corner, and on my 6-String Corner YouTube page. Personal, if you can go one of those. I don't have it on the personal page, and then you can click that and just go and get your fingers warmed up. Not right now, but you can go ahead and get it warmed up before you do this, or you're working on anything. So now, regarding the bar chords, like I said, to me, bar chords are your friend. I don't look at bar chords as being something that's really intimidating. It can be at first, because obviously you're going to have a finger play one of the several notes at a time, or several strings at a time. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you, we're going to go over 2 songs. One that's an old one that's a new one. I don't want to say a new one. It's ish. I got one from like the mid 70s, and then we're going to go into the 90s. So figure 2 of them. Pick your other one if you got other bar chord songs that you want to work on too. Hi, Renee. How you doing? Anyway, so let's get into this really quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera off of my face, and we're going to go to a close-up on the guitar. All right, so I'm going to move it. So if you're dizzy, excuse me for being dizzy. All right, so all right, now let's look at how we're going to do this. So now when we're playing bar chords, I'm going to go over 4 different shapes and 3 of those 4 we're going to be using in the 2 songs that I'm going to show. So let's give a quick, we can take like about, we're going to move through this fairly fast. Again, like I said, I have more information later. If you want to get an online lesson, I can show you this later. Probably develop a little more on how to form a bar chord. But for now, let's talk about getting your fingers warmed up for this. So after you've done your warm-ups, what you're going to need, at least just based on my experience, is that this pointer finger and this ring finger, both of these two, are mostly in most of your songs doing the barring. Okay, sometimes the little finger does it, but it's mostly the pointer and the ring. Those are the more common bar chords are used with those. They're not the only ones, but so there's one technique that I really, really like, and it may look kind of silly at first, but if you do this long enough and you do this regularly, it'll build strength in your fingers. And I know there's many teachers out there. I've seen them on YouTube. Everybody, we all say the same thing, so I'm going to tell you the same thing here. I call it the finger slam. I love the finger slam. What is a finger slam? Literally just that. You're going to slam your finger on the fretboard. So what I do is I take the thumb, because most bar chords, we're playing bar chords, we want our thumb, for the vast majority of them, to be, can you see that? We're about halfway down the neck with our, with a thumb in an upward position. We don't want to be pressing. Try not to press the back of this neck. You don't ever want to do that. Okay. You want to have it just sort of here, sort of hanging down. In fact, you know what? When I give you a different angle, it's going to look like this from the back. Okay. Where your wrist is kind of, see how it's hanging low there. All right. And then you want that thumb down here. Now, when you're doing this finger slam, this is how it's going to look like, as it's going to look like when you're actually playing an actual, song. All right. And you're going to see that when we get to the 2 songs. All right. Now flip it around. All right. Now, so here's the finger slam. So a good place that I like, good starting point, is with the pointer finger. We're going to slam it here on the 5th fret. All right. Now, we haven't talked about how to form the bar chord yet. I haven't gone into it. We're just working out the finger. So with the thumb down here, okay, in that position, all we do is really simple. We just, I'll get the sound out here. And you just slam that finger and you work it as long as you can. All right. Can you do it 5 minutes? I don't know. Maybe. Can you do it a minute? 30 seconds? And just work that. And that's just working that the finger. And you're just sort of giving it a bit of workout. And this doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to get it the first day. No, it may take a few days. It may take a week. I don't know. Everybody's different and how long it takes them. But you want to do a slam, and you just slam that. And then you do the same thing with the ring finger. And I would do that, keep my thumb in the same place, and do that on the 7th fret. All right. And you just want to work on a slam on the ring finger. All right. So this is one really neat little, very simple bar chord. There's lots of other exercises, but that's one that I found that works really well. Is just do that finger slam. You need to do it as long as you can. I mean, can you do it a minute? Can you do it 2 minutes? You kind of stretch yourself till you really get it fatigued. All right. And then it's just like if anybody's doing workouts, right? If you're doing pull-ups, you want to get that extra pull-up. You want to work it so that you get those muscles fatigued. Well, it's the same thing with the fingers. You want to get it so you fatigue them out. So everybody's going to be different. So I don't want to tell you, hey, do it for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 1 minute. You're going to know what your limit is, and that's what you want to work towards. Okay. And do either the ring finger or the pointer finger. The little finger you can do too if you want. There are times that we'll use the little finger. I know I do. So you can work that. Very rarely you're going to use the middle finger for bar chords. I'm sure that there's ways of doing it, but I really, that's not very common. The common ones are these 2 and sometimes this one. So these are your 3 fingers that you'll definitely want to practice that finger slam. Make sure your thumb is back here and you're slamming them, okay? So that's one way of doing it. Here's the other tip on playing bar chords. This is really, really super important, especially with the pointer finger here. When we're playing, we put our finger on the bar, okay? Now you see these little metal parts, these metal things here? These are called fret wires, if you don't know, right there. That's a fret wire. Right here. Okay, so you got the fret and you got the fret wire. So when you're playing, like here's a bar chord, right? So now when I'm playing a bar chord, I want to take that pointer finger and I want to put it as close to the bar as I possibly can, the fret wire right here. Okay, so as close as I can. Hey Renee, how you doing? So I just want to get it as close as I can to the fret wire. Okay, because what happens if we go too far back, and this is especially true when we're back here. Here's this old dreaded F chord, right? All right, and if we're playing this and we're too far this way, you start getting a lot of buzzing. So you want to try and get it as close as you can to the fret wire on the bridge side of that fret, not this side, the other side. The other thing too is that when you're playing a bar chord is you want to try to not press it on the flat part of your finger. You want to make it a little close more towards the bony side, because if you look in, obviously your fingers, if you got normal fingers like most of us, you're going to have these little indentations. What's going to happen if you're on the flat, if you have a string that's in there, you're not going to be able to press down hard enough. You got to really force it sometimes. And so if you're on the bony part of the finger, where it's to the side, then you have a lot more. You get a lot more success playing that bar chord. Now on the ring finger, for some reason it's not the same issues. The ring finger, you're going to tend to play it. You might twist it a tiny bit, but the ring finger, because of the nature of how these chords are usually played, will be on the flat. Okay, so it's a general rule. Now I'm giving you just global general rules. There are always exceptions to every single rule out there. All right, so don't just take that one out. Hey Tom, how are you? So don't just take that. Everything I'm telling you is just, these are starting points, and then you will work from there. Like for example, here's a bar chord, and this is a bar chord. And as you can see, if you look at my ring finger, okay, we're not going to do this bar chord today, but it's definitely looking different than if I'm playing this bar chord. Okay, so there are differences as time moves along. I'm just going to cover the 4 basic ones, and the songs that I'm going to do here that I'm going to show you in a little bit are going to cover 3 of the 4. Okay, it doesn't mean that the 4th one's not used. It's just the songs I have are not going to be that. Okay, so we're going to cover 4. There are 4 basic bar chord shapes. Okay, 4 bar chord shapes that we will use. Now, I just so happen to have a, let's see here, if I can find my bar chord shapes, and I'm going to share my screen with you real quick. Let me get on this thing here first. There we go. All right, now I'm going to share it. Now, I don't think this is going to be on the personal page, so sorry about that, but I'll still go over it with you anyway. I'll still show it to you here a bit. So, all right, here we go. All right, so now we've got infinity. All right, so this is the bar chord right here. We're going to go through these 4 shapes. All right, so you can see those on the on the personal page. You don't, but I'll go over that in a second. So we're going to go over the major bar chord. All right, which has the root note on the 6th string. And it looks like this. All right, the numbers represent your fingers. This represents the bar, the way the finger goes across the bar. And then the numbers 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, pointer finger, and then the middle finger, ring finger, little finger, and then here's the frets, and then you got the fret wire. Okay, so this is a basic shape. This is something that you will see on a lot of song pages, where they may show the chords on the top, or they may show the chords along the music staff or the tabs, and you'll see them written like this. There's something very similar. There's definitely, everybody's got their own little style, but in essence, that's what this is. Okay. Now, the other thing too is the root note. We always want to know what the root note is, and the root note on all 4 of these, and I'm going to show you, is the lowest note on the chord. It isn't always, but the ones I'm going to show you have the root note on the lowest string. Okay, so just bear in mind, I'm just giving you generalities here. All right, so, and this is a major bar chord with a root on the 6th string. Now, there's also people that, and I've sometimes referred to it too, is that it's what we call an E major style chord, because if you took this all the way, if you pretended like the end of the chord was right here, all right, these would be open and it would look exactly like an E major chord. All right, so it's like this E major style, all right, where we play that major chord. All right, so this is the major bar chord with the root on the 6th string, and I'm going to show you this on my fingers, you know, and get off the share, but I just want to show you this real quick. Now, then the minor bar chord with the same thing, root note on the 6th string, is going to have the it looks exactly the same, except now without the middle finger here. We're going to, now our pointer finger is going to bar 3 of these strings, right? And then the other rest of them look the same, all right? And that's a minor bar chord with the root on the 6th string. Sometimes it's called an E minor chord, an E minor style chord, all right? Because if you took it all the way back to an open strings, you know, and just like this was right here, the end of the guitar, and out up here, it would look like an E minor chord because these would all be open. All right, so that's sometimes called an E minor style. And then you got the minor bar chord. Now we're gonna go with the root note on the 5th string. All right, and that is looks like that here, like what you're seeing right here. We don't pick the lower note unless it's an E. We don't pick that lower note. We tend to just look at the root note being right here on the 5th string. We bar it, but the bar is only going to bar the 1st string here and then the 5th string right here. And then you have the 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger right here. Okay, and that's a minor bar chord with that root note right down here. That root note, okay, that names the chord. So you got to know the notes, can't talk. You got to know the name of the notes on your guitar. I mean, it's really sort of important. If you can get that, you can play any minor bar chord with this shape, and the same with the other 2 that I showed before. And then one more, we got the major bar chord. Now this is the one that uses the ring finger, and this is actually a mistake. We don't bar this. That should be an X. Okay, I got to correct that. So we're only pressing this. Sorry, that's not a bar there. So we're going to press that root note right here, and then the ring finger bars the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. All right, and these chords, all of these chords require you to stretch those fingers. You got to move them. You got to stretch that pointer and the ring on all of them. All right, so and you want to try and get both of these as close as you can to the fret wire on the bridge side of that chord. All right, so these are the 4 chords. If you want, I can send these out. Just leave me a comment or a message, and I will find a way to get this little PDF to you that's got all these chords in here. I've got all kinds of other ones in here, 7s, major 7s, and all these other bar chords. There's a ton of them in here that can be really, really super useful for you. Okay, so let's get off this share real quick. All right, so now we're off the share. All right, so now we're back. So that in essence, my screen is showing StreamYard. Yikes. Okay, those bastards. My apologies. Let me see if I can get this. Sorry, I'm gonna. Yeah, that's probably not very good. Sorry about that, StreamYard. You destroyed me. How about the application window? All right. Let's see here. Okay. Well, my bad. Okay, so I'm really sorry. I thought it would switch that. All right, so we're going to go to application window. Yeah, it's not doing it. All right, so let's get off of that. All right, so I'll tell you what I'll do here is I'll put a I'll leave it in the YouTube channel. I'll put a link down there. I'm sorry. I thought it was working. It was working before, and I'm probably doing something wrong. So let's go over the 4 then, just to recap, because you probably didn't see. I don't know if you saw it or not. So we're going to go over the major bar chord. We're going to go over which is the root note on this lower string. Okay, that's this bar chord right here. And then then there's the minor, which is the same thing, except we lift the finger up. So we're just barring right here, string 1, 2, and 3. All right. And then we got these 2 fingers right up here, just like the major bar chord. It's the only difference between the 2. Okay. This one's oftentimes trouble because I know some people have difficulty on that G string. All right. But if you hold that pointer finger the way it's supposed to be, that'll make that chord sound. But it's really important that you play that, because otherwise that chord is what makes it minor, and that note makes it major. And then we have the minor right here, okay, and then we have a major right here, okay. So these are the four bar chords that you need to know. All right, now, so let's get on with the song. All right, I've gone over this probably a little bit too long, and I'm sorry if the stream didn't work. I'm gonna have to figure that out because streaming is really, really nice to do on when you're doing lessons here. All right, so now the first song. All right, so let's go old school. Then we're gonna go new school. Oh, I don't know. I say new school. It's still 20 or 25 years old, but let's go old school first. I've taught a lot of my students this. I'm still teaching them this, and I like it. It's from one of the most popular rock albums ever. One of the most popular rock albums ever. I know it was groundbreaking. It was on the Boston's first album, and it's a song called "Peace of Mind." Now, there's an acoustic and there's an electric in the song. We're going to do the electric part, and even if you're playing acoustic, do the electric part anyway if you want to practice your bar chords. The acoustic, you can definitely get away with this playing on a capo, which could make it a lot easier. So you can definitely do that on this song, but we're not going to do that here. We're going to do the bar chords with this one, all right? So here's how this song goes. I'm going to play it. So I'm going to play it first and then walk you through it real quick, all right? And walk you through how to, if bar chords are still new to you, how to work through the process of playing this. So here's it goes like this. It's I'll call them out and then I'll break it down. So here's the C sharp minor to A major, E major, and then a B major. All right, so that, my friends, is part of Peace of Mind. That's Peace of Mind. So the chord shapes is the minor one with the root note on the A string right here. All right, so that's right here. It looks like this. That's that A. It's like an A minor shape. So if you were to play an A minor chord, you drag it up here, and then your pointer finger kind of plays the part of the note of the guitar right here, all right, or a capo, whatever you want to call it. So sorry, on the 4th fret. So this note right here, if you know your notes, that's a C sharp note. Here's your C, here's your D. If you know your dots, it's right in between those dots. So then I form that chord, and that tells me that's the name of the chord, is a C sharp minor. All right. Then the next chord we're going to go to is an A major right here with the this low note right here. This is a major chord form with the root note on the low E string, just like that. All right. And then and that's how you form that one. And then we're going to play the E major. This is that one where you're going to use the ring finger playing the bar chord now. Doing the bar. The pointer finger is just pressing this note down. And then you're going to go down to B major right here, which looks exactly the same as the A major, except here's your B note, and we're playing a B major chord. All right. So it's going to go from here to here, from here to here. Now, here's some suggestions I'm going to have. So I know that a lot of folks struggle with transitioning those chords, any chord really, but the bar chords in particular. Here's how you can get it. Here's what I would suggest if this is a struggle for you. Here's a couple of suggestions that I want you to do. First of all, number one is make sure the bar chord sounds good, right? So you just take each chord individual. Don't play the song yet. You're just going to take each chord. Don't strum it, all right? Because you can get this false sense that you got it. And sometimes those muted notes, you don't hear them. When you pick the notes, all right, you can hear that everything sounds right. If you didn't, then you got to correct it. All right, you do the same thing on all 4 of these chords. It's A major, and it's E major, all right, and then your B major, all right? So each individual chord, don't play the song, make sure you've got them. And so just sit there and work on it as long as you have to, all right? Now, here's the next part. And this is where we've got to transition the chords. So if this is really a struggle, what we do is we take the pick, all right? We put it down, all right? This is all going to be just on the left hand. And now, doing it this way, we don't know if the chord is going to sound good or not. But what we're going to do is we're going to work on transitioning from one to the other. So the C sharp minor right here, all right, this is a C sharp minor, goes to the A major. And if you notice, the fingers are all kind of like, they look sort of like in the same shape or pattern. So you have this right here, C sharp minor. So what you want to do is you just drag them over and up. Okay, and you can actually run it along across the top of the string if you want to. So you got a C sharp minor, and then you go right over here to the A major, back and forth, just like that. All right. Now what you want to do is get it so that you land all of the fingers at the exact same time. Why? Well, you're playing this song to a beat, and you got to land it. You can't go, wait, hold on. All right, wait, wait. You know, and get it. So you got to work on getting the fingers to get there, right? So this practice part isn't necessarily yet about getting the chord to sound good. It's to get them, the fingers, to know that they have to look at this shape. So you want to work on this. And this is a really, it's simple in concept. I know it's difficult in execution, but you just keep this shape as you move it here, all right? Try and keep those fingers locked in that position as you play that A major chord, all right? So that's what you want to do. Notice we're not picking. There's no picking going on right now. This is just working the left hand. All right. And then when we go from here, we drag our fingers along the top of the string. At least that's what I do. I try not to lift them. That's too much, especially when you're playing. Like, you got to get to that chord pretty quick. So if you are going to lift them off the strings, very, very slightly. But I actually like to keep them just lightly across the top of that string to guide me to get to this E major. All right. And so what I always do is I use my pointer finger as the guide. So when I'm here, I'm using the pointer finger to guide me. And then I take the pointer finger and drag it over here and form that E major. Right. So you go from here to here, over here to E major. All right. So there's your 3 chords, and you work on, well, really what you do is you work between the two. So you work from this to this, and that's it. Second exercise, work from here to here. Just go back and forth. All right. And then go from E major to B major. And just work on that. Just work on that. Just those two. So you're working in between just two chords. And then from here back to the C sharp minor. And we've got a little further way to go, but I'm still sort of riding along the top of those strings and keeping that shape, right, to here. You really want to try and work on keeping that shape, a common pattern, all the way back. All right. And then so you work each of those two individually. Don't do this. Like, you want to work, if you're really struggling to work this, just work the 2 chords here like this, then work these 2 like this, and then these 2 like this, and just work them separately. All right. Then you start combining. Once you feel kind of a little confident, I'm still not picking. I'm going to go like this, and then I'm going to go like this, and that, and back. All right, and we still don't know the chords. The chords may still not sound good. You're doing a separate exercise. The separate exercise is going through each chord, make sure they sound good. Right now, after you do that second part, then the third part now is now we want to play it. Actually, play. We grab the pick. Now, what you don't want to do is strum it yet. I know the actual song is actually strummed. You don't want to strum it. What you want to do is again, you want to make sure the chord sounds good. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4 up, and then make our transition. So let's say we got it. Make sure that sounds good. If you do this, and you hear, make that sound good, and then do it again. Just pick the strings individually. All right, and the same thing when you go to here. Don't strum it, because we want to make sure all those strings sound clear. And mind you, I'm breezing through this. This process may take you some time. I don't know. It depends on where you're at in your guitar journey. It may take some time. Could take weeks. Could take a few days. I don't know. It depends on where you're at. But stick with it. Just stick with it. And if you're just being consistent with it, it'll sound good. And then once you get it, then you play the song. Just do this, just do a quick strum, and notice that there's some mutes in there. And I just drop my hand to mute that string, and I lift my fingers up off that string just a little bit. Notice I'm muting. And when I bring my hand down, my pick is going down right to what's going to be the next chord. So, and I'm right here. We're resting that pick on that low string when I go to this chord. And then when I'm got it sitting right here on the A string, because that's going to be the next chord. So the pick's always going to land on the root note of the next chord. Now, there's a couple of little things. I'm not going to get too heavy into this now. There's a little mute thing. I just kind of slide my finger down. It's called a suspended chord. You could play it here too. That's another place to play a B if you're familiar with that. You can do that too as well. That's a lot of movement if you want to do it. Nothing wrong. The nice thing about guitar is sometimes you can play the same thing on 2 or 3 different locations. So, but this I would rather just work on this right now, because this is the focal point. This is going to help you work on transitioning your chords, changing your chords around, and then do that strum, and then remember to kill that sound when you just mute it. And then the electric, he does little, and I just mute the strings. All right, so that's the other little muting thing. We're not going to get into that today. Today's more the focus on the bar chords. So that is Peace of Mind, and that's really the bulk of the song is that. And then you just got these power chords. All right, and just as a side note, this isn't about bar chords, but that's just an E power chord, and you got to work on getting your little finger stretched out. It's on the same string as the ring finger, out 2 frets. And we pick the lower 3 strings. Lower 3 strings right here. And that's just a D power chord, not a bar chord. And then an A power chord. There's a lot more to it. Obviously, the lead guitar is definitely dominant in there musically, as well as, of course, the vocals, which are just have always been amazing. So, and that is how to play "Peace of Mind" by Boston, and it's like I said, it's a basic 4-chord part there, and then we go on from there. I'll probably have a video and I'll show how to play the rest of that song. But this is just the focus today is just on the bar chords. This next one. A little bit easier, I think. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. It's all major chords. And it's this one here. It's a little bit of Lenny Kravitz. I Want to Fly. I think it's I Want to Fly Away. I think it's called I Want to Fly. I think it's called I Want to Fly. Great song. I think the whole song is that pretty much. I don't think there is anything else in there. There's times when he drops out, it's just the bass and it's a guitar, but it's all major. Those are all major chords. There's only 2 chord forms that are in this. And, what you're doing now is you're just sliding your chords back and up and down and but you want to hold that shape. All right. So this is all major chord. This is the major chord form with the root note on a low E string. So this is an A major because that's an A. And it goes up to the B really quick, B major to a C major. So right here on the 5th, okay, I'll call it pointer finger on the 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret. So that's an A, B, and a C. And then you drop down down here over on the 3rd fret. This is a G major. And then I play the D major like this. That's like that E major on the other one. So there's your D. And then you play it with this ring finger, just like that. So same process. This is the same idea if you're still working on bar chords, right? So what you want to do first of all is make sure you got them. Work on that. That's step 1. Step 2, or well, it's not really step 2. The other phase 2, or whatever you want to call it, is then get your fingers to land. All of them land right away. This one's a little bit easier in concept because it's the same fingers. It's the same shape. It's the same everything. going up and down like that. And then here's your D. All right. So you got to switch from this B. And it's just like what we did before when we did Peace of Mind. We went from an A to an E. Here you're going from the G to a D. Notice it's the exact same motion that you're going to do. Everything's just 2 frets down, okay, or a whole step. All right. So that's in essence how you would do it, and you would go back and forth. And then step 3, before you actually do the rhythm. All right. I know it's not exactly the song, but you want to make sure you follow through. All right. You want to get that to sound, each of those individual notes to sound really, really good. Okay. And that's how you would do it. So, so now the actual song is, all right. So there's some muting going on, and this is how we mute. Again, it's the same thing. I like it. All right. I'm just dropping my hand here, and then I just release pressure. I like to do both. You can just drop your hand if you want. If you don't want to mute I just release the pressure and drop the hand, or you can just drop the hand and not worry about any left hand. Different people do different things. I like doing it both because it just guarantees I'm going to have a stop, because you really want to have that. All right. So in a 1 strum on the B, down, up, down, up. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. That's it, right? Okay, got that. Down, up, down, 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 down. All right, and notice those mutes, where those mutes are having. And then you drop down to the G, down, 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 and then same strum for the D. Now, when you're playing this D, all right, this is a kind of an important thing that I think, at least for me, is there's this mistake. We could accidentally hit this low E string here, and in this case, we don't want to hit that. When I'm playing these chords with the root note on the A string, okay, whether it's this is a major or that minor form like I did in Peace of Mind, I'm taking the tip of my pointer finger and I just have it on the side. You can see that it's on the side of the E string, the low E string. All right, just kind of keep it there. All right, it just so I don't hear that low string. Otherwise, it's going to sound really, really super ugly. Especially when you're playing a song like this, where you're just sort of you don't really want to. You want to be like worried about you're going to hit it. So I'm literally strumming it through all the strings, or actually the top 5. All right. And if you play this chord, you just release some pressure on this high string too. That's another thing I should have mentioned earlier, is when you're pressing down, you sort of just move your hand a little bit out so that you don't want to hear that first string. Okay. That's probably that's actually could be a tricky thing if you haven't done it before. So you just sort of lift it up just a little bit off that high E string. All right, so that's why this chord can be a little tricky with that, but especially have that finger on the side here, because there's going to be other songs where you're going to move like this, and you can just ride that pointer along the side of that string. You notice I'm hitting. I don't know if you can tell. I'm just hitting that low E string. All right, I'm still hitting that, but the finger's muting, so it's a nice protective measure. The only time sometimes you don't want to do is only one chord, and that was the one that was in Peace of Mind. It's this one. And why? Why do you think that is? That's an E note, and what's this low string? That's an E string. Sounds okay that way. All right. It depends on how you want the song to sound. You might still want to not hear that low E, or maybe you will hear that low E. I don't know. So that's how you do that. So that's how the song is. All right. And I'm releasing pressure, but I'm following the fingers along the top of that strings. They're not pressing, but all right. And then I'm releasing pressure. I'm just showing you the left hand here. All right. And I'm just muting that with my left hand. Just release the pressure. But keep the fingers on the strings, and then when I actually get back to the actual strumming, I sometimes will rest it here. But the more important one here is actually the left hand just sort of lifting up and muting that. All right. So that is, in essence, those are 2 songs that are kind of fun to play. There's all kinds of them. Leave me a comment below if you're watching this after the live stream. Let me know other songs. Let me get my camera back up here for y'all. All right. So so that's there's other bar chord songs. Let me know what you guys have come up with. I might be able to form a lesson or do a quick video on how to play it. But that's how that. Hopefully, you got at least the more important thing, maybe even more than just playing the song, is how to approach it. If you're still trying to work on those bar chords, I mean, first you got to get that finger in shape, right? So we're going to do the finger slams. You want to do the finger gymnastics. That's in my link below. So, go ahead and click on that. And, there's all kinds of exercises that help get those fingers strong and coordinated. And then after that, then we want to make sure the chords sound good. So we don't strum right away a bar chord. We want to pick each individual string, making sure that they sound good. Each string is right. If not, you got to correct it. Then after that, if you then you do the left hand finger motion, finger memory thing. All right. And then make sure that you got that. And then you pick the strings individually as you transition. All right. And then you play the song and you get the rhythm. All right. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions out there. I've run a little late, so I'm not going to be able to do a jam today. It doesn't sound good on YouTube anyway, so I'm going to kind of spare you all the trouble. I'm not going to do that to those of you on YouTube because it just doesn't sound good. I wish it sounded better. So if anybody got any questions, go ahead and let me know. I've definitely have the live streams out on right here right now, so I can get any comments, any questions that you might have. Just remind you, this is Tony with 6 String Corner. I do give online lessons, so if you're on the Facebooky thing, you can DM me, and I will get you guys set up. The first lesson is free, and then I got a 4-lesson package, and you get a money back guarantee. All right, I know I'm selling, but hey, you know what? If you want to learn, the best way to learn is always one-on-one. I do teach online, not in person, and it may be a while for obvious reasons. They're going on out there, so we're gonna I'm not gonna be doing that, but online, basically anybody, doesn't matter where you are in the world. I don't know who's watching, but I can give you let you know. Some people are sore. I'm sorry. Trust me, if your fingers are sore doing this, I guarantee you, just stick with it. Now, one last thing. I'm glad, Nick, you brought that up. If you're practicing, this goes with really anything, not just bar chords, but if you're practicing something, whatever it is, a lead, whatever it is, and you are starting to feel a bit sore, like there, a little bit of pain in the fingers or in the wrist or whatever, then take a break. All right. You don't want to overdo it, especially if you're kind of new and this is early on in your routine. You want to take a little break, maybe take like 5 minutes, come back to it. If it's still kind of sore, then you're done. Go on with the next day. Don't overdo it because, you could damage things in your fingers, ligaments, whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy things that could interfere with you being really good. So that's something that good point there on the being sore. Just pay attention to yourself, all right, on what you're doing. So, all right, if we got no more questions, I do appreciate y'all coming on the live stream. And if you're on the if you're watching this afterwards, thank you so much for sticking around and watching. Just leave a comment below if there's anything you need to know. You want a new lesson you want to learn, you want to take a lesson, and you can definitely take advantage of that. I think that there's definitely value in live lessons. There's value in YouTube lessons. I know that I teach stuff on YouTube as well, so I'm there with you. So yeah, to be sure to check in and let me know. You can either leave a comment and I will find a way to get a hold of you, or leave a message on Facebook and I'll get back to you as well. All right. So that's going to be it. I've got to get off the live stream because I got to free it up here at home. Thanks a lot for watching on all the channels here. Thank you on the personals page. So we're going to go on that one. That one's going to be over. And then thank you on YouTube and on 6 String Corner. So we'll catch you next week. I don't know what I'm going to be teaching yet, but I know it's going to be really, really awesome. All right. Thanks a lot, guys and girls. Thanks for watching. And I will catch you later. Appreciate it. Thanks for the shout out there, Scott. I appreciate it. So, all right. Take it easy. Stay safe. Adios. Rock on.